Hey, what's going on guys? It's your boy APR2K here. Today we're going to be going over my computer collection as of late July 2022. This is because last year at this time I only had about 4 computers and now I have 19. I've done a lot of computer collecting in the last year as it's more exciting than phones. So I'll go over each computer, tell you the specs, show you it working, and add extra notes if I need to. One thing I should say is that the specs I'll be giving you these computers are the specs that they have currently. Most of these computers have been upgraded or had components changed out, so they probably are not the original components that came with the computer. Anyway, with that being said, let's just get right into it. Obviously, the best place to start for my computer collection would be with the first computer I ever owned. This is my HP Pavillion G7 that I got back in about 2014. It's a 2011 laptop that my mom gave to me for free. It has an AMD Phenon 2 X4 P960 quad-core CPU, 4 GB of RAM, and a 500 gig hard drive. It also has some sort of dedicated graphics, though I don't know what they are. Unfortunately, this laptop has a lot of issues. That hard drive is really slow, the fan is messed up making it way louder than it should be, and the Wi-Fi stopped working. For that reason, I didn't bother charging it for this video. I covered up my COA so that you guys wouldn't steal my Windows 7 key though. Next, we have my Dell Studio XPS, which I got for free from somebody, though it would have been very expensive back in 2008. It features a Core 2 Duo, 4 gigs of RAM, some random 80 gig hard drive I threw in there because it didn't come with one, and some random Radeon graphics card. The battery in this laptop sadly no longer holds a charge, and it's kinda beat up. However, if you turn the lights off, this laptop looks insanely cool. LEDs everywhere. I would have loved to own this back in 2008. Moving over to the cheap end of laptops, we have my 2011 Gateway NV55C, definitely a budget laptop made by Acer but sold under the Gateway brand. It features a Pentium D P6100, 4 gigs of RAM, and integrated graphics. It has some random 120 gig hard drive in it, and unfortunately, the hinge has this problem. I'll fix it eventually, but for now, it's honestly fine. The battery on this laptop is also terrible, but it's running Ubuntu, and I use it for Linux related stuff, as I don't use Linux that often, but it is nice to have a laptop running it. Next, we have my late 2011 MacBook Pro. This was actually a recycling find, and I was able to fix it up for about $28. Don't you remember the days of the glowing Apple logo? I certainly do miss it. This laptop has a 2nd gen Core i7 CPU, 4 gigs of RAM, integrated graphics, and a 160 GB hard drive. I don't have many plans for this as I don't really care for MacBooks. However, a laptop I definitely love is this Acer Aspire V3 772G6602. It's a 2014 laptop with a massive 17.3-inch 1080p display. It features an Intel Core i5-4200M, 8GB of DDR3L RAM, 256GB SSD, and only integrated graphics as the dedicated GT750M has failed. Either way, this is still an awesome laptop and I write essays on it all the time because the keyboard is amazing. However, moving forward 4 years to 2018, we have my Dell Inspiron 5378 2-in-1. This is quite a nice little laptop featuring an Intel Core i5-7200U, 12GB of DDR4 RAM, a 480GB SSD, and integrated graphics. It's also my only laptop running Windows 11. Obviously, the processor doesn't officially support it, but you know how it goes. We just bypass that BS right there. And lastly, of course, we have my main laptop, the Dell Inspiron 155502 from 2021. This is a really solid laptop featuring an Intel Core i7 1165G7, 16GB of RAM, an NVIDIA GeForce MX330 graphics card, not the best but it works, and a 500GB SSD. It's been a great laptop and I've used it a lot for the last year in school and will continue to do so. And now we move on to mini PCs. This first one is a piece of manufactured e-waste known as the Tenzing 4472. It features an Intel Atom E3825, 1 gig of RAM and 4 gigs of storage, and obviously no graphics. This thing is meant to connect to a server, but I don't run any kind of server that this thing would use, so it's completely useless to me. I don't know why I took it. However, this next mini PC I have a way higher opinion of. This is the HP Prodesk G2 Mini. I actually have 3 of them, but only one has RAM and a hard drive, so I'll just go over that one. These actually have a lot of ports, which makes them really useful for small setups, They have an Intel Core i3 6100U, 8GB of RAM, and a 256GB SSD. At least my main one features all of that. These are solid little computers actually, and I really enjoy using my Prodesk G2 Mini. Solid find. And now we move on to the full-size desktops. This is the first computer I ever got from recycling. It's Dell Optiplex 755, and I've upgraded it purely with recycling bin parts. It's a Core 2 Duo E6750, 8GB of DDR2 RAM, dual 160GB hard drives, and a Radeon HD 3450 graphics card. Yeah, that thing. Anyway, this computer stopped turning on for some reason. I don't know what the problem is. I have to figure it out. I get it to boot every once in a while, but when I tried to record this video, it just did this. Now you've been tortured by that desktop too. Anyway, this is my next one. This is my oldest desktop. It's a Dell Dimension C521. My grandma gave it to me because it didn't work. Anyway, I got the computer itself working, but the hard drive is dead. Has some random AMD Athlon. I put 4 gigs of RAM in there for whatever reason. Has some random graphics card, and really that's all there is to say about this one. It's a piece of crap. Next we have my Dell Optiplex 780. If you guys saw the Recycling Center video, it is completely unchanged since that. Everything is still the same. It has a Core 2 Duo E8400, 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM, 320GB hard drive, and a Radeon HD 3450. Yeah, this is pretty much the same as that. It's just running Zorin OS now, which is a Linux distro. Next, we have my Dell Precision T1500. Quite a cool workstation from about 2010. Features a first-gen Core i3 530, 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM, triple 320GB Seagate drives configured in RAID 0, and an NVIDIA Quadro FX 4500 graphics card. It's actually a pretty interesting little workstation, and I honestly really like this computer for no reason at all. It's just neat, and I got it for $10, so yeah. And now we move on to my Dell Optiplex 3020MT. This is the lame one. I have 2 of them. This one has a Core i3 4130, 4 gigs of DDR3 RAM, 500GB hard drive, and integrated graphics. Nothing much to be said about this, other than it was the dirtiest computer I've ever seen when I got it, but I did pick it up on the cheap, so I can't really complain. But who needs that boring 3020 when this one exists? This 3020MT has been turned from an old office computer into an awesome gaming rig. It features that SSD right in the front and LEDs throughout. This thing looks insane. It has a Core i5 4590, 12 gigs of DDR3 RAM, 256GB boot SSD, dual 1TB hard drives, and a Radeon RX 560 graphics card. This thing's an awesome little budget gaming rig, and from a personal appreciation standpoint for the work I put into it, this is probably my favorite computer in my collection. But lastly, of course, is my HP Omen. This has been my main computer for 4 years, and I've really enjoyed using it. Features an Intel Core i7-8700, 32GB of RAM, a GTX 1060, and a 256GB SSD with a 1TB backup hard drive. Yeah, this thing actually has less storage than my backup gaming PC. Interesting. I'll have to upgrade it soon, and I actually have plans to do so, just haven't gotten around to it yet. Anyway, this PC has been awesome, and I don't have any plans on upgrading as this one does all I need it to, really. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It was a long video, but I really enjoyed making it, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it. If you did, show me by subscribing, liking, of course leaving a nice comment. I'll respond to all of you guys. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and of course, peace out everyone.